Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here for this presentation on grocery anchored retail centers, building resilience in changing markets. I am Clyde Wood. I am Vice President of Commercial and Mixed Use Development here at RealBerry, a position I've held since 2019. A little bit more about me. I started as an entrepreneurial developer in Los Angeles. Did that for several years, and then in 2011 I went to work for CIM Group, a large private equity firm also in LA with about $30 billion of assets under management. Did that for 8 years before relocating here to Colorado again in 2019. Before we jump into the meat of the presentation, I'm going to start with an overview of RealBerry, our history in this sector, our history in general. We're going to talk about how retail has evolved over the last decade. And then we'll get into specifically why grocery anchored centers in particular have a structural edge in this environment. Then we'll talk about how we RealBerry evaluate and underwrite these types of opportunities, what we look for, what attracts us to this product type, and how we set it up for a successful development process. And then we'll end with a few upcoming investment opportunities along the Front Range that put this thesis into practice. But I do want to remind you that although we do have some upcoming investments, we're here to educate. This is not a pitch, but if something does resonate, we invite you to connect after this presentation where we can provide more information. Again, this is just an official disclaimer showing that this is solely for educational purposes. This is not an investment or other professional advice and is not an offer to sell securities. Okay, about RealBerry, instead of telling you about our firm, we actually have a video that we're going to share, a short video that shares the story that brought us here, our history, our work, and the vision that defines who we are today.
I think what stands out to me most is how fortunate I am to be able to get up every day and do what I love and do it with a talented team of people that do what they love, and that together we can all create something that we can't do on our own.
McWhinney began with a simple strawberry stand and a bold belief in what was possible. Since then, that seed of an idea has grown into a legacy, one that shaped some of the most celebrated, high-performing communities in the country. It speaks to our singular mission to create places people love.
Our vision is to develop and own high-quality real estate for the long term and do it with aligned and like-minded people. We've been doing it for the last 35 years, and we'll do it for the next 35 years.
Today, we're taking the next step in our story together. A new era shaped by the same values that brought us here, and a bigger vision for what's possible. We're opening the door to more accredited individuals and institutions, inviting more people to be part of the places we create. Same roots, bigger vision. A new name for what comes next. McWhinney is now RealBerry.
Watch me do it.
We're blending decades of expertise with a bigger, more inclusive vision for what real estate investing can be. With RealBerry, we're not just building communities, we're inviting them in by offering greater access to high-quality real estate investment opportunities.
With RealBerry, we're going to really use technology to give your average accredited investor the opportunity to invest directly. Millions of investors have access that they didn't previously have. With more investors, with more developments, you can add more value to people's lives. RealBerry is committed to investing alongside our partners, and that's something that really differentiates RealBerry.
You get to pick your projects and put your money in the hands of a trusted team that's collaborating with established communities and emerging markets. Your capital is put to work in real places with real impact, projects you can visit and take pride in.
I hope that RealBerry is able to show people that there's a different model that everybody can win with. The community can win, investors can win, our customers can win. By working together, we're going to do amazing things, and hence the name Realberry. Berry for obviously the history of the strawberry stands, and then real for real people, real communities, real returns. Welcome to Realberry.
Okay, so now that you have learned a little bit more about who we are, I'm just going to share some quick statistics with you. After 35 years, we've been through the S&L crisis, the dot-com bust, the GFC, COVID. Not only are we still here and growing, but thriving, and something that we attribute to our long-term focus. From a numbers standpoint, we have $3.6 billion of AUM, assets under management. We've delivered over $13 million square feet of real estate across various product types. Over $1 billion of equity deployed, and $1.6 billion in total realized proceeds. One of our differentiators is that we are a fully integrated platform. That means that we can provide all the real estate services related to investment and development, from acquisitions through entitlements, design, construction management, asset management, and property management when the project is done. Another differentiator is that I would describe us as product agnostic. We have vast experience in most of your major real estate asset classes: retail, obviously, office, industrial, hospitality, multifamily, mixed use, and master planned communities. Geographically, our focus is on the Mountain West region. We are founded here in Colorado, so that is obviously our backyard. But we also do work in what we call the Mountain States: Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, and Texas. Our hospitality group will go beyond that. We have hotels in other major cities across the country, but certainly from a retail standpoint, our focus is in our backyard here in Colorado and the immediate Mountain States. Okay, so now we're going to move into the meat of our presentation, the evolution of retail specifically. Retail, as recently as 5 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, I would say, was the least attractive asset class. There was talk before COVID of retail, the end of retail, that the internet and e-commerce would spell the end of retail. Well, what we've seen is not only has retail survived, but it is now thriving. And even though retail is a hot asset class right now, not all retail is created equal. So when we talk about thriving retail, we're going to be a little bit more specific about what type of retail is actually thriving. But big picture, from a national perspective, retail vacancy is held at a stable 4.4%, which is pretty tight. That's actually consistent with what we saw pre-COVID. Then obviously when COVID hit, retail vacancy spiked. We saw over 16,000 store closures. But over the last few years, retail has actually has come roaring back. Leasing activity has spiked, 4.5 million square feet of new leases in the last quarter. And even though, if you walk down the street, you'll see a lot of empty storefronts, I think it's more of a story of rollover. The weaker tenants are going out, but there's a lot of strong leasing momentum with new tenants, new formats, new stores coming in, certain brands expanding. So it's more of a story of turnover and evolution than contraction. We actually anticipate that there will be rent growth in the near future, and that's really a sign of a constraint on supply. We're not seeing new construction. It doesn't pencil right now. So there's going to be a period of time where new deliveries to the market has been severely constrained. And that's going to put pressure on for rents in existing centers to go up. And we're seeing capital re-engaging. Several years ago, capital wouldn't touch retail. Now we're seeing institutional capital really target retail. Allocations from institutional funds to retail are increasing. A partner of ours actually just acquired an over 1 million square foot retail center in California. Transactions are happening. Retail in many ways has become the belle of the ball, where you look at asset classes like office have really struggled post-COVID. So we're seeing a real shift in the market toward retail. And we're excited that the capital markets have acknowledged this shift as well. But again, not all retail is the same. It has revolved, but the winners are not evenly distributed. The headline that retail was dead was overstated, but the headline today that retail is back is probably a little too simple. What is actually happening is an evolution. Formats aligned with how people live daily are thriving. Formats dependent on destination traffic, some of your traditional goods retailers are under pressure. So outcomes vary by format. The big structural shift is that we are seeing a movement away from traditional retailers that just sell goods to retailers that provide services and experiences. Over the past decade, grocery square footage has more than doubled, and restaurant bars grew by 110,000 locations nationwide. Those are the winners today. It's those that provide daily needs and true experiences, give people a reason to get out of their homes and come to a mixed-use environment. Service tenants are now the dominant force in new leasing. As of Q1 2026, service-oriented tenants are outpacing traditional goods retailers in new deal volume. Users in the fitness space, medical and urgent care, salons, and then particularly food and beverage. And those types of services that really fill your daily needs are driving the majority of the new leases signed. And these are based on habitual visits, something that you go back to multiple times a week, rather than, again, a destination place where you may go once in a while. The neighborhood serving center, neighborhood formats are one of the best performing retail sectors. Neighborhood centers are the ones that you may find in a dense residential area. We're not talking about big power centers on major boulevards. We're talking about 25,000 to 50,000 square foot retail centers that really serve that immediate population. And they are outpacing every other major retail subtype right now, exceeding expectations. The other format that is really experiencing growth right now is your experience-driven demand, where these neighborhood centers are becoming the center of the community, the neighborhood node. And I think this is showing that physical retail in the post-COVID current internet world is still essential. People need to get out of their homes and be able to go and experience something that is community oriented with friends and family as a means of social connection. And we'll talk a little bit more about those types of centers coming up. But right now the focus is on grocery anchored centers and why those stand out. The grocery anchored centers have a vacancy rate that is 4%, which is lower than your traditional non-grocery anchored center. And then next to the grocery store, you're seeing tenants that provide high frequency necessities that create an ecosystem. So next to the grocery store would be retailers like fitness that provide your daily needs. And grocers themselves are expanding aggressively. Aldi is one of the fastest growing grocers in the US. They talk about opening 180 stores by 2028. Trader Joe's posted 10.5% same store visit growth year over year. Whole Foods is growing. These are defensive businesses. They're not just holding on, they're taking share and opening locations. They are expanding. And then I think another point about grocery stores is that they are not discretionary. They are, fairly immune to economic conditions and drivers. So whether it's a recession or not, people need to eat. They need to buy groceries. They're also e-commerce resistant. Even though we've seen a rise in grocery stores delivering groceries to your door, really what we've seen them become is a point of fulfillment. They're fulfillment engines. So you still have to go up. A lot of people go and pick up your groceries at the grocery store. And that makes the real estate more valuable, not less. And it insulates grocery anchored centers from the substitution risk that has hurt goods heavy retail. Okay, so now let's talk about the role of mixed use and placemaking. So this is a format that we here at RealBerry are particularly focused on. When I mentioned earlier that these retail centers have kind of evolved from being just a shopping center where you go park your car, go in, buy your goods and come out, to becoming a community node, a place where you can go, where a lot of people live nearby, you work, you eat, you shop, you gather, you commune. And then grocery anchored centers can be that too. There can be a grocery store there that is integrated into the broader context of a mixed use environment. But one of the things that mixed use does, it generates foot traffic. And what we found in mixed use environments, foot traffic would be increased 20 to 30%. And also it's about dwell time, again, versus your traditional shopping center where you drive up, buy what you want, get in your car and go home. These mixed use centers that have a sense of place, increase dwell time because they're a nice place to hang out. You want to be there and you do more than one thing. You don't just buy one good and get in your car and leave. You can buy something, go get something to eat, meet friends for a drink, have dinner, and that all leads to longer dwell times of, you can see the stat here, 30 to 40%. What does placemaking do, and what does it look like? It's really, to us, it's a long-term value creation strategy. Well-designed, experience-driven, walkable centers, they produce stable, predictable cash flows, and the appreciation outpaces your standalone commercial property. For RealBerry, placemaking it's in our DNA. Projects like Centerra, our master plan community here in northern Colorado, are an example of this thesis playing out over decades. And another key component of placemaking is programming. It's not real estate. It's having a band in the park, yoga on the lawn. We will do in our centers 400 to 500 different activations a year, and that is what gives people a reason to come back multiple times. So they're not just coming back to go shop at the stores that are there. They're coming to hang out, listen to music, bring their dog. In some ways, we consider ourselves to be in the entertainment business with this program, and we are no longer just owners of real estate that collect rent. It's really about activating these places and giving people a reason to come and hang out and want to come back multiple times a week. All right, let's talk about how we evaluate these opportunities. Every opportunity starts with location fundamentals. It's not just about the building or the tenants, but the market that the site serves. Growth trends, we prioritize markets with population in migration, job growth, a residential pipeline. We want to be in the path of growth. The Front Range of Colorado, where several of our projects are located, it exemplifies this. Northern Colorado and the Front Range has consistently seen in-migration, rising incomes. It's a highly educated population. And because of the mountains to the west, there's a constrained land supply. From a demographic standpoint, again, we look for population size and density within a defined trade area. A grocery anchor center in particular needs sufficient rooftops to justify its anchor and co-tenants. Larger grocers and certain brands have access, a lot of these brands have access to exceptional data. We make sure that our business plan aligns with their objectives and where they want to be. From a socioeconomic standpoint, household income has always been a key retail driver, but not every place has to be Cherry Creek. I think we look for areas that have sustained growth and household incomes that are on a rise, and enough of a household income that can support a diverse tenant mix, including the tenants that are really active today, like we mentioned before, fitness studios, specialty food concepts, food and beverage, personal services that help a center work real well. We are never looking for the cheapest real estate. We're looking for the right real estate, markets that will be larger and more affluent 5 years, 10 years from now. And again, like I said, in the path of growth. We also want to make sure that we are transparent about the downside. Like any real estate asset class, retail does have its downsides. There are risks. No investment goes without risks. And specific to retail, tenant rollover is something that we have to manage closely. We always try to sign long-term leases with tenants to create that cash flow stability. But we know that stores close, retail evolves. So we always price this into our underwriting, make sure that we carry a healthy leasing reserve. And I think this is where some owners can get caught after they've owned a center for a little while. They don't have the capital to backfill empty spaces because new tenants coming in require a lot of capital for tenant improvements. So making sure that that is incorporated into your underwriting or to our underwriting from the beginning is critical, that you can ride out those consumer shifts. And then, of course, the retail is very dependent on the macro environment, interest rates, lending conditions, consumer confidence. All this affects development feasibility. Trade policy uncertainty, tariffs, remain a wild card. We haven't seen it, truly a direct impact on retail to date, but those types of factors are always out there and can always impact performance. Okay, now with all of that said, let's go into some of our RealBerry's upcoming investment opportunities so we can show you kind of how this underwriting, how this thesis works in practice. The first one is Ave South. This is a project that we anticipate going live within the next 30 days. This is located in Loveland, Colorado, which we are calling the front porch of the Front Range. And this really exemplifies what we call mixed-use placemaking in action. It's a true destination where people can live, work, shop, dine, gather. It is a project that really incorporates all the uses that can create a true kind of 18 to 24 hour vibrant community. I'm looking at the asset overview area now for some statistics. Over 1,200 multifamily units, nearly 500 single family homes. There'll be a large office component of 170,000 square feet. There will be, this is actually a combination of mixed use and grocery anchor. There will be a brand new Whole Foods anchor here with another 100,000+ square feet of retail space and nearly 100,000 of restaurants. So this is a real example of where retail has evolved today. We are leaning into experiential entertainment, food and beverage users to create an environment where people want to go to just hang out. It's not about identifying a specific store, going to that one store and then leaving. We hope that people will decide, we would just want to go to Ave South to hang out, and we'll figure out what to do when we get there because there's so much going on. There will be a center green with a band shell, again, to create that, offer a venue for ongoing programming. And, you know, really this is what retail placemaking looks like today. And again, this is a project that will go live on our RealBerry platform here in the next 30 days. Center Street is similar to Ave South. This is going to come online a little bit later this year. The tagline for this project is a canvas for intentional living. This is located in Broomfield, a suburb just northwest of Denver. Like Ave South, this represents what retail placemaking mixed use looks like today. Again, also a Whole Foods anchored retail center, but then again, complemented by a range of other uses, over 1,300 residential units, 130,000 feet of retail. This will also have a significant office component of over 155,000 square feet. And again, a focus on food and beverage, service retail, experiential retail. It will also have, you know, abundant open space and green space. And same with Ave South, all these mixed use projects include a significant public-private partnership. This particular one, Center Street, includes $83 million of public financing from the city of Broomfield. And that's really another area where we, RealBerry, excel, creating these districts, these walkable mixed-use districts can really only happen if there is a significant public-private partnership with the municipality, because all the horizontal infrastructure, all the common areas and the gathering areas and the lawns, those cannot be created through private investment alone. These projects work best when there is a significant public investment, and which ultimately benefits the municipality too, because the amount of economic activity that these new districts create can really benefit the municipalities and their general fund. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. Stay tuned for our upcoming opportunities like Ave South and Center Street and others that will be coming. We invite you to join our RealBerry platform. You can create an account to access our current offerings at realberry.com. We certainly encourage you, if you have questions, to reach out. Our investor relations team is here to help you. You can reach them at the email address shown there below. So thank you again. Feel free to reach out to me personally. Always happy to connect. And thank you very much for joining us.